Welcome back to Adventures with Bam. I'm Brent Billings.
And I'm Maggie Billings.
And this episode has us remembering our dear friend and ministry partner, Josh Bossé.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know.
I don't know how we're going to get through this.
I don't know.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's been a week and a half since he died. And our organization, Impact Campus Ministries, has been going through this whole process and officially sitting Shiva, which we're still in the middle of.
Mm-hmm.
And in some senses, that's been really good and a blessing, and in other senses, really messy and complicated. Like our kids don't really know what to do with it, how to make space for it. Our dog certainly doesn't. Viruses or whatever that are making us sick have no respect for that. So I'm still sick right now. I've been in bed basically all of the last 2 days. Mm-hmm. And so I don't even know. It's just been a weird process.
I mean, there's never a good time to be sick, but I think maybe while you're sitting Shiva is the best time.
I guess.
Because it forces you to, I don't know, you're already resting. There's space from some work tasks and kind of forces you to rest even more, I guess. Yeah. You can still process and grieve while you lay in bed.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so than if you weren't sick. So you would be a lot more productive right now, I think, if you were feeling better, but production's probably not what we need right now.
No. And like so we're just recording this the day before we put it out. And basically all of my waking time today I've spent going through photos of Josh. I had kind of dug some stuff up last weekend. And then as I was going through them today, I was like, oh yeah, there was this thing. And then there was this other thing. And also this. So I found more than I realized I even had. So I put together a bunch of that stuff for a blog post. And I don't know, I kind of wrote out, it's just like a timeline. I don't
We've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I feel like we met him and Sophia not long after we moved to Moscow. I think the first time I met maybe both of them was at that first Seder meal. I think you have pictures of it in the blog.
Yeah, that's the first picture. That was 2014.
That was 2014?
I'm assuming...
I thought it was earlier than that.
Well, that was when I started BEMA classes in fall of 2013. So that would have been my first. I assume Marty did a spring 2013 Seder that we were in town for, but just, I don't know. It was probably for his students.
Yeah.
Because I think really the 2014 one was for his students as well, which I guess technically I was involved in that sense, but it was a larger gathering too. There were a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it had just been like enough people had heard about it that he kind of opened it up to a larger audience. Mm-hmm. But Sophia was one of his students in Pullman, I believe.
That's right.
At Washington State. I don't actually know how she and Josh got connected and got together, but I think they were dating at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were engaged.
No, I don't think they were engaged yet.
But they got married less than a year later in February of 2015.
Man, it was that fast.
Yeah.
So crazy. Maybe it just didn't seem that fast to us back then because we were fresh, had rolled out of a 2-month engagement. And anything longer than like 4 months seemed pretty long to us. Yeah.
So
I don't know how long they had been together when I met them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume that that's the first time because Josh didn't live in Moscow. I don't know that he ever lived in Moscow.
Yeah, in my mind they did, but I think it was just that Sophia was around.
Right.
And he was always coming to visit.
Right.
So, but yeah, I feel like it felt like they lived here.
But like looking back on that and seeing the timeline there and like the number of photos that I got of Josh and Sophia at that event, I'm assuming like that is the reason they ended up hiring me to do their wedding. I don't know. I maybe at some point I'll have to ask Sophia, but yeah, that seems like it very well could be it.
I think you had maybe you had shot other friends' weddings before theirs too that they had
It's possible. I'd have to
seen.
look at the timeline because there were definitely a number of people in that friend group getting married around that time.
Yeah.
That I was involved with. But yeah, I don't know.
What is really interesting to me too that I guess I didn't realize was how I don't know why this particular thing hits me so hard. When Sophia announced on Facebook that Josh had passed, glancing at the comments and seeing so many people, I feel like we have kind of two sort of distinct circles of community because we have so much history and roots and friends that go way back in, Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls area from that season of life. And then we moved, and then we have kind of a distinct community here. And seeing the comments when Sophia shared on Facebook that he had passed from both circles, like people that we knew from there that I guess I didn't even realize knew Josh and Sophia. That was really wild. Like it makes sense. And I think Josh's dad was really, I think still is, really involved with the real life up there. So it tracks. I guess I just didn't realize it because I didn't know them until we moved down here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just, I don't know why that hits me. And maybe it just reminds me of, when Franco died, the wide influence, and the amount of people that I think when you love God and you love people really well, you make friends everywhere and you affect people everywhere. And it seems like Josh and Sophia have really done that.
Yeah, when we did that episode about Franco, not even 3 months ago, I didn't think we'd be doing another episode like that.
Nope.
So soon. Brian, our kind of Baymont team leader guy, he called me Friday, and Sophia had sent out an update that morning, and Brian was saying that things were not looking great at that point. And I mean, it was not even 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Like it was total shock. And I like just looking back on all the things, like I went to Cincinnati to set up a bunch of recording equipment for Josh just back in June.
Yeah.
Not even 6 months ago. I never imagined. Like I knew that he got a new diagnosis and I knew things were going to be tough, but I just always, like in my mind, I was just like, okay, well, what do we need to do to like give Josh space to heal? Mm-hmm. Because he's going to heal, of course.
What was the new diagnosis that you already knew about at that point?
Well, he had the Hodgkin lymphoma.
But didn't he? I thought they found out about that.
Yeah, that was a few months ago.
Okay, yeah. That was after you went out in June to set stuff up.
And that was like not that big of a deal. Everybody with cancer gets this, blah, blah, blah. And then they treated that and it was fine. But then there was some other stuff that they found. And I was like, oh, that's a little more serious. But I was just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think when I heard that, it felt like, okay, bump in the road. Like,
right.
It didn't feel like that was going to be it.
And maybe it was like a little bit of denial.
Yeah.
Like looking at what Sophia wrote on their Caring Bridge, maybe she was a little more clear-eyed about it and realistic. I don't know. I mean, she was clearly, but yeah, he did so well with his liver transplant and his recovery from that. Like, and he seemed so fine, like he would have moments where he'd be sick or not doing as well as other times, but it just seemed like he always was going to bounce back.
I think part of what's so jarring about it for me too is how just like full of life like Josh had a big personality, and I feel like every time I was around him, every conversation I had with him, like he's very passionate and very just like loud and full about every conversation. And I don't know, I guess there's a part of me that like interprets that as like, this vitality means like you're sticking around. I think when you think of or you picture someone who's dying, someone who's on their way out, that doesn't that's not how Josh was. And it's not like I was around him, in the throes of his sickness. So obviously my my interactions with him were when he was feeling better. But yeah, just I feel like who he was and his personality were just very big and very alive,
Yeah.
Cancer sucks.
Yeah. And just like finding the space to process it is super weird. Like this weekend, we had a birthday party for one of the boys' cousins.
Freya.
I mean, I think we had a good time there.
Yeah, we did.
But like, how do you balance that with grief and trying to process things? And
yeah.
And like we did Christmas with my family as well.
That was
because different travel schedules. It's just like, oh, this is the time we have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely, I think, been times like different seasons of grief in my life and in our lives where I felt a bit more insulated, I think. Almost like I've described it to people as in my deepest moments of grief, I almost felt like there was this protective bubble around me that the Lord had. And it was just like, I felt very protected and safe everywhere I went. Like, and part of it, I think, was because for a while in the middle of that, everywhere I went, the people who I was around knew that I was grieving and, were just a little extra, a little extra careful, a little extra gentle with my, what they said and what they did. People act differently when they know that you're going through something tough. And we just haven't, that's a luxury that we haven't had this time. I don't know. And grief is weird. It's weird how you can lose someone and the opportunity to do the like sit Shiva thing for a week for work is huge and amazing and such a blessing. Unfortunately, the rest of the world is not offering that. So to be processing this and trying to grieve it, and still being like, okay, let's figure out. We're like, selling this rental property we have in Detroit. So we're selling papers, or we're signing papers and trying to do a bathroom remodel. So we're meeting with contractors, just like weird life stuff that feels very common and what also feels like it should be a very like sacred time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's weird to have to do stuff that doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. I wish we could somehow pause everything.
Yeah. I mean, the family stuff matters. Obviously. Like,
yeah.
Doing Christmas with family and doing Freya's birthday, like that's still sacred and that matters. And like, what a blessing that our family is healthy. I think I'm, more aware of that in the middle of this. But the other stuff, I'm like, I don't freaking care. Like,
yeah.
I don't care that the people who want to buy the house in Detroit want a lower price. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. I don't have time for that. Yeah.
So I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah. I will say, I don't know how useful this is to people listening. I think I don't even know I say most people, but maybe that's just because it's happened so much in our lives. I think a lot of people in our culture, especially, like our culture really doesn't have a clear, we don't have a lot of rituals around loss and grief. Like I think as a culture, we're really uncomfortable with grief and we don't know how to handle it in our own lives, and we are very uncomfortable with it in other people's lives. I noticed this a lot with the miscarriages, right? And people are so good and they're so kind and they mean so well when they say things like, oh, they're in a better place. Or, like, oh, it's okay. You'll see them again someday. And like, oh, God needed, this is the one that really makes me mad. God needed another angel. I'm like, shut your mouth. Like, so some of the stuff that people say, these platitudes, like they may be true. Some of the things just aren't true. Like they're just like spiritualized things that we say to make people feel better. God needed another angel. No, he didn't. But I think it's really important as a culture. We would be a lot healthier if we could get better at just being with people who are grieving. Like, don't feel like you need to make it better. Don't feel like you need to get their mind off of it or distract them from their grief or talk them out of being sad or logic them out of being sad by saying things like, no, you don't need to be sad. You're going to see them again. Like, I'm sorry. Cool. In 80 years, like, I don't know what that looks like. So yeah, I just think it's so important to remember that, like, as we grieve, as we come up, like find ourselves in other situations and relationships through life as other people are hurting, to know that like it's okay. Grief is normal, pain is normal, loss is part of life. Like that's all true. And the best thing that you can do for someone grieving is just to show up and be there with them. Like, don't try to fix it. Don't try to make them feel better by saying the right thing. Just be there and be in the awkward silence if that's what it takes. Because I think that's the most meaningful thing. I don't know if you agree with that or disagree with that or have something to add, but
I don't know. I think I expended all of my energy and my thoughts in the blog post.
That's fair.
And just like, I don't know, I'm trying to be appreciative of all of the moments I got to capture with Josh. But there are just too many times where it's like, oh, we went to this event and I just wasn't taking any pictures that day for some reason. It's like, man, what could I have gotten? So I feel like I'm a little bit weighed down by regret at the moment, but also like totally full of joy, reliving so many of these other moments that I did capture.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a big, messy mix right now.
It's fair.
So I'm sure there will be more to say at some point, but I just don't have it in me at the moment. His memorial is going to be on their anniversary, I believe is the plan. I don't know if that's actually set in stone yet, but that'll be in February. So I assume that we're going to travel together to Cincinnati for that.
Yep.
So maybe we'll talk about it more then, maybe sometime before that. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're still
fresh.
Still fresh, still a lot to figure out. A lot of unknowns, a lot of weird, awkward things to sort out with the podcast, with the Baymont podcast, not our podcast. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of answers right now. So I think we'll just leave it at that.